These webinars are recorded and can be viewed on demand at any time at wesc.ca/services/resources. Today, our topic is navigating uncertain times with calm and control. It is presented by Sheila Unique, relationship renovator. If you have any questions during the presentation, please write them in the chat box. I will let Sheila decide if she wants to answer them during the presentation or at the end. Thank you, Sheila, for joining us today. Please start whenever you're ready.
Thank you. I acknowledge the position that we have all been put in as entrepreneurs. I can't even imagine what you may be experiencing right now in your life. Can you all hear me okay? There is an echo. I'm not sure what to do about that. The echo comes on when I put my mic on. I'm not sure that I have two mics going. Turn down your speaker. Okay, just a minute. Does that sound better? Can you still hear me? Way better. Okay. Then I'm going to go forward like you can hear me. I acknowledge the position that we've all been put in as entrepreneurs. And I can't even imagine what you as an entrepreneur, as a woman, as a man are in as far as position right now for your business. And in our personal and professional lives, there's a social, mental, and emotional disruption and upheaval right now that we can't escape. And now we have an echo that we can't escape. So let me turn it down a little more. I'm going to trust that you can still hear me. Regardless if you are or aren't working, things have changed. And like Prabha Mitchell said, nothing is the same. And I don't know about you, but nothing's the same from my end as well. So thank you to WESC for hosting these online events, for being so proactive in holding these online webinars so that we can all move forward together. I consider my presentation to be timed perfectly because it's been over a month where we have been experiencing the biggest changes that we could ever imagine when it comes to doing business, and merging that with our role as parents and having to move forward with or caring for our loved ones from a distance. And so today's topic to me is with what's happening in the world, it's all about navigating through these uncertain times with calm and control. And that really is about navigating through these times with less drama and less struggle. And so, yes, I will be taking questions through, but I will answer them more at the end. So let's get started. When it comes to presenting today, I will be talking about relationships, but the relationship approach that I take when it comes to speaking has to do with, in order for us to grow and discover ourselves along the way, we need relationships outside of us. And when it comes to the emotional disruption that we're experiencing right now, I will be speaking more to that as opposed to businesses itself. And then professionally, I work with energetic vibrations. And having that gift has allowed me to take my clients inwardly to experience the unrest or the struggle that's going on inside. And so throughout the presentation, I will be referencing from an energetic point of view And I really get a feel that today you'll be in a place where that might just be a little bit of a refreshing, a nice, unique change as far as the perspective that I put forward. So we'll be touching on what's happening currently, looking at relationships, especially with ourselves and others. We'll be looking at where are we focused, gaining awareness, what can we do? And allow me to say it's not only about what we can do today, but this is going to be about every day going forward. How do we get there? And then we'll be growing on all levels. Before we go on, I do invite you to just notice what's going on inside. What's going on as far as right now, what you're thinking about, as far as maybe what you're feeling. And I also invite you to consider what's going on in your physical body. Maybe you're feeling a little tight, or maybe you got some sensation. Just what is it for you? And it could be in relationship to what's going on personally, and it could be in relationship to what's going on professionally. But either way, to be in a place where allow that to be there. Allow whatever you're feeling to be there. So our current situation, when you think about when the pandemic first surfaced, maybe you had fear, and maybe there was a lot of uncertainty. And now we're at a place where we're wondering, it's been going on so long, how are we going to repair the damage maybe that's taken place with the business, and how are we going to make our payments with the limited resources that we have? Now, that's you and the fear that you may be having around whatever your situation is. And your fear is only one of all of us in the world. And so collectively and globally, we're all vibrating this fear. So you're not only feeling your fear, you may also be experiencing the fear of others. And I just share that with you because it's about realizing that, you know what? Yeah, we are in it together, and the cells in our body are vibrating that. So if you feel, of course, a little bit of unrest, naturally so. There is uncertainty, but allow me to kind of say, with this time that we have, if I could use the analogy of driving a vehicle, think about, for example, outside of Regina, we had a whole construction change as far as how the road structure was. Even think of navigating through downtown, let's say, where they're doing a whole bunch of construction, where the roads are changing and the sidewalks are changing and okay? When you go through a construction zone, which is all of a sudden new, you don't know where you're going. You don't know how they're going to detour you. The roads will be bumpy and it could be muddy and it'll be slow going. And that's kind of what this pandemic is for us. It's like we're navigating through a construction zone. And it's not always fun. And we don't always get where we want to get. And the thing about a construction zone, if I may share, is the fact that we don't know where the next turn may be. We're so used to doing it this way, but now they're changing things. And this is happening not only for us, it's happening on a global level. So when it comes to uncertainty, it's important for me to say that, you know, uncertainty isn't something new for us. Think about that. We can, in our business, we can plan for 3 years in the future. We can plan for 5 years in the future. And we can even plan for next week. But, you know, there's a sense within us that we can kind of control what's happening. We kind of get a sense of, okay, well, you know, we want to get here, but what are we going to do to Okay. And we have this sense of control because we can kind of prepare for it. And that's very different from what we are working with now. The unpredictability comes in. Not only is there uncertainty in professional and personal life, but there's unpredictability. And that is for the whole aspect of no, we have no idea how it's going to unfold. And each one of us is, we can't plan for something like this. Maybe we can put in place an emergency plan, or if this happens, and maybe we can, plan how we're going to navigate through this and put procedures in place. But when we get to something like this, we can't plan. And this situation happens so fast. It happened so fast and things changed so quickly that there was really no time to prepare. There's no time to prepare. And so how would we even know how things would unfold? With everything changing, we could have had a plan in place. And I know if you were like me, we experienced that over the last month. We would have a plan in place how we were going to go forward. And then the next day we had to reassess our plan. And again, when it comes to business, this is like right here immediately for us. And people were leaving work and working from home, and the businesses were closing, and then groceries were running out, and then there was mass panic, and because there was no time to prepare. And that whole element is what's happening globally, and that's where the unrest was created. So as I'm sharing this, I want you to kind of notice what's going on inside of you. What are you thinking about? What are you feeling? Just be with the fact that, there's a lot of fear. So again, uncertainty is not new to us, and we can plan for what we would like. But right now we're in a position where we can't. We can't plan for how it's going to unfold today or tomorrow. And that's the reality that we face right now. That's absolutely the reality that we face. So my question is, how do we approach this with a sense of calm and control? You have the relationship with yourself and others, and that is no different. We're still working with the same relationships. Only now the communicating and the connecting has changed. Some people are communicating over the computer all day long, and that's very different. Now, from an energetic point of view, let's talk about how it was before we communicated through the computer all day long. Let's say you're in the office and you're bouncing ideas back, and you're in a meeting and you're brainstorming and you're really excited and the juices are flowing. There's an energy in the room. And everyone, if I could use this word, feeds off of it. And so the energy's there and people are excited and well, now we're not in the room anymore, and now we're communicating over the computer. When it comes to the computer now, some people get to the end of the day and they're experiencing where they feel exhausted. They've tried so hard to communicate. And I've heard clients say that, they're trying to contribute in the meeting, but they're not feeling like they're contributing anything in their meeting. So I invite you in this moment, when you're doing the things that you are kind of enforced to do every day, how are you responding to that? How are you feeling that? What are you thinking about? Because this is about navigating through. This is about becoming aware of what's going on inside of you in relationship to what's going on outside of you. And we're always changing. So there's a disruption in the energy. There's a disruption in how you do things now. And when it comes to ourselves, this is so important. Every one of us is enforced to self-isolate. And if we're so used to the busyness at work, where we're with the people and we're with the clients and we're excited about life, and then all of a sudden now there's self-isolation, that can be a little unsettling for people. So acknowledge that for yourself. What is it for you to be in that place where you're not giving like you used to? Because at the end of the day, if you are not taking care of yourself, if you are not aware of what's going on inside of you, eventually that may jeopardize how you're handling everything else outside of you. And so barriers can surface, like communicating through the computer all day long, or being in a place where you aren't as clear with your clients because you're only communicating one way compared to how you did before. Just recognize that if you're feeling exhausted or you're feeling more tired than normal, that could easily be resistance. And that's okay. It's not about not resisting or not feeling, it's just about being aware. Where are we focused? Well, if we're focusing outside of us, then I'm going to word it that way. If we're focusing on what the children are doing all day long, or what's happening in the media, or what colleagues are or aren't doing, we're focused outwardly. And what's going on outside of us is impacting what's going on inwardly. And so when it comes to outwardly, we all start at home in the morning and we all end at home at the evening, whatever the hours would be. And so for many of us now, we're beginning, middle, and end in the middle of in the day at home. So there's change again. And so when it comes to inwardly, what are you noticing is happening inside? And to me, when it comes to inward, when it goes inward, it's about what are we thinking, which means what's going on in our feeling and what's going on in our physical body. So it says, I made a note there that to know whatever we mentally are repeating is about reminding yourself of what it is. So if it's about focusing on, oh, I don't know if I'm going to make that payment, or, okay, you're constantly reminding yourself. And so I share that with you as far as just being aware. Emotionally, it's about moving through the emotion as opposed to maybe stuffing or ignoring it. And then physically, because there is this fear and it is global, there is constantly a defense response which may impact your physical body. Again, notice what's going on inside of you. So gaining awareness. This is one of my favorite topics. Gaining awareness. Our thoughts are so important because we can be thinking about the past. And when it comes to the past, this is all about the stories that we've created. Or we can be in the present, or we can be thinking about the future. Now, the future, I was like this. I was in a place where the future didn't always look so bright, and so I wasn't creating a great future as hard as I was trying. And it's about just recognizing what is it for you. The stories that maybe we've come to believe, again, are the past. It's not like you're not going to have any of those stories or you're not going to be thinking about the future, but be in a place where now in this moment we have to make decisions. Now in this moment we have to act. And there's no fear in the present moment, because we're present of where we are, which gives us a sense that we kind of know what we can do in this moment, and we also have the ability to take action or be inactive. When it comes to reactions, it's like driving in the fog. Now, I talked earlier about us going through a construction zone. Think of moving through a construction zone and it's foggy outside. Not only do we not know where to go, we can't even see where we're going. And that's what it is to react. It's like looking across the street and you can't see anything. And then all of a sudden, the fog lifts and you see with clarity. That's what it is when it comes to working with reactions. We're upset about something, we're fearful about something, we're in a place where we don't know and we don't know, and that's okay, just be there. But when we are in a place of reacting, when we're frustrated and when we're fearful, it's like a cloud. So there's no clarity, there's no intuition, you're not rationally thinking anything through because it's clouded. The other thing I want to point out about reactions is you may not know you're even reacting until the reaction surfaces. This is really important. It's not about not reacting. It's about when you do react. It's like a red flag going, hey, something about this right now doesn't feel great. Something all of a sudden, and reactions happen just all of a sudden. Something about this doesn't feel great. It's not about not having reactions. It's about becoming aware when you do, because we have to navigate through these uncertain times. And of course, it'll be a little bit unsettling. So what can we do? When it comes to calm. I pointed out how before the pandemic, we still had times of uncertainty. And before the pandemic, we also had times where we were calm and in control. There's still those times in your day where you're experiencing where there's some calmness and you're in control. And so recognize those moments. The calm that I'm talking about has to do with reactions. So think of being in a place where, let's say, you're struggling with something. Think of even what you're struggling with right now. Maybe it's like having a really tight fist. Okay, there's a reaction. And you're thinking about it and you're struggling and you're thinking about it, and then, okay, there's unrest and there's reaction. When you resolve whatever that is, that's creating the reaction, that's creating the unrest, then you can think about it and you no longer react. So this is about being in a place where, yeah, you can be calm inside regardless of what's going on outside, because you're not getting caught up in it. Maybe when you were in an office full of people or you had clients all over the place, maybe you were a little bit, some days where this felt a little bit too much. Okay, now that you're out of that, just recognize that there's going to be some things where maybe you're a little more calm. The pandemic is still happening, but you're not reacting like you used to. And that's what this is about. It's about recognizing that. So when it comes to control, no, we can't control the moments when our team members get upset, or even at home, we can't control when the kids are going to pick a fight, or when the meeting doesn't work, or we have echoing at the beginning of the presentation. We can't control all those things, but we can sure navigate through that with a sense of calm and a sense of control. We can't control what's happening outside of us, but we sure can make an effort to take care of what's going on inside of us, because that's where there will be change. One thing that, for example, my daughter chose to do when it came to controlling what was going on now that the children are at home all day long, during lunch, she would take them and all three of them would lay on the floor and they'd look up at the ceiling. And in that moment, they would appreciate everything that they had in that moment. And so they would think about, what are you seeing right now? What are you feeling right now? What are you hearing right now? And they worked on all of their senses. And it continued to kind of escalate as far as what they were experiencing in each moment. But that's how she chose to work with the children over her lunch break. And so there's ways that you can influence what's going around you, and there's ways that you can take care of what you can control. So how do we get there? Continually adjusting. It's like every corner we get to on this through this construction zone, it's about recognizing, okay, where are we? Oh yeah, this used to be that street, or this is the way I used to go, and be in a place where we continually have to adjust. But what I want to share with you is allow whatever is to be there, emotionally, mentally. And why I included this, because when we get upset or we get angry with someone, we tend to stop it. Nope, can't be that way. But we're all going to feel stuff through this worse than before, only because it's being magnified right now. So allow whatever is there to be there. Maybe today you have a few more aches and pains. Allow whatever is to be there. Maybe your thoughts now aren't so positive. This is huge. From an energetic point of view, think in terms of, okay, so you've been thinking about this and a little fearful for a while, and now you're starting to get mad at yourself because you can't stop thinking about this stuff. Or maybe one with the media, starting to get mad because that's all they have on the media now, I hear. That's all they have on the media. Why can't we have something different? Allow that to be there. Allow yourself to be frustrated and to be angry in those moments. But again, people stop that. People close that down because I'm not supposed to be that. I'm the parent. I should be the one in control. My daughter got to the place, and she said it's okay if I share. She said she got to the place where she had to admit that she needed to stop denying that there was a problem, that she wasn't Superwoman and she couldn't do it all from home with the children and her work schedule. And she said the day that she did that, it almost felt like a weight was lifted off of her. Because she didn't have to be Superwoman anymore. We don't have to be superheroes anymore. So whatever this is for you, allow it to be there. You will be so rewarded for doing your inner work around that. Are you discovering new things about yourself? This is the cool thing, that as I was going along, I was noticing things. Maybe for you, you're noticing that, you're discovering new likes and dislikes. Maybe you're in a place where now, maybe you have a new passion, or you're noticing that you like to do your work a little differently, or maybe you are excelling in the morning and you'd rather be doing your work from 4 to 6 a.m. and then the rest of the day you can play. Whatever it is for you, maybe you're noticing those things. And why would we be discovering things right now? Because we're enforced inside. We're not caught up in all of the drama and all of the chaos maybe that potentially could have been happening at the office, or what was going on with, and now we're not there. So we're kind of enforced to be inside, which means, if I may put it this way, we're kind of stuck with ourselves. And as you move through and navigate through these times, maybe you're experiencing how you really enjoy writing. Maybe you really enjoy taking time to do a Facebook Live or a webinar, which is something you didn't have time for before. So what are the things that you are discovering about yourself? I could share so many examples. I could talk about this all day long. I love talking about things like this. What are you noticing about yourself? And then, are you finding your center? And when I say center, it's that place inside of you where it's like it's home for you. And that's where you'll probably do your greatest creativity, or maybe you're in a place where you're really, really grasping what's going on, and you have greater awareness and more insight as far as maybe the changes you're going to make in perfecting your business. Those things will be there for you if you allow them. And I say if you allow them, because we can choose to be in this space of calm and recognizing little bits of calm and a sense of control, or we can be caught up in the fear and the drama that's going on, and believe it or not, you can even do this with your children. You can get to a place where you go, oh, I'm done fighting with these kids. I don't know what else to do with them. And the day you let go, you'll be amazed at how the children might change. That's just an example, because it is about allowing changes. Now think about being in a place where you recognize that you really enjoy writing, but you don't allow the change. Or you really enjoy doing your work from 4 to 6 in the morning before the world wakes up, but you don't allow the change. Can you see how those two just don't go together? You get to experience now with some grace, where you can make those choices now and still work with what's happening around you, what's happening in the business, what's happening, whatever it is for you. So allow for the change. Growing on all levels has been a joy to recognize. And I say all levels because not only are your thoughts changing around maybe how you have to deal with stuff now, maybe you're feeling different because you're moving through some of the fear that's there, and you're kind of in a place where now you're accepting it because you have kind of been dealing with what's going on inside. And maybe your body's even a little more relaxed because it's not caught up in all the fear and stuff. So it is a time to recharge, reset. That's what this is all about. And if I may speak more on a global level, we are being encouraged as a whole to reevaluate our relationships, to revisit how is it that we go about our day. What are our strengths? What are our weaknesses? What is it about us? And that's not only within ourselves, it's in our relationships, it's in our business, it's in our life. Especially if you're working from home now. And this doesn't matter if you're a business owner. It doesn't matter if you have 40 employees or hundreds of employees. or you're a single entrepreneur and you're making less than 1,000, it doesn't matter, because you know what? We're all the same. We are absolutely all the same, because we have a heart and we have a mind and we have a body and we all feel stuff. And we all have to navigate through this. But it's about navigating through it with less fear, with less drama and less struggle. And I'm sure I can feel it with you all that you're experiencing changes around that. It truly is about mastering your awareness of what's going on inside in relationship to what's going on outside. In relationship to what's going on inside to what's outside. Because that's how you will know. That's how you will know if things have changed for you. How do you know you don't react anymore? Because you're put in the same situation and you're no longer caught up in all the conflict. You kind of just observe. Believe it or not, that's a strength. In the beginning, when I experienced that, I thought, that must be boring, or And then I recognized that, no, I'm fully present because I'm not reacting, and I can actually be with what's going on around me. And that's the beautiful gift about awareness. That's the beautiful gift about recognizing when things are changing and when they aren't changing. And only you will know that. Only you will know that, because everyone is an individual. Everyone's an individual, but we are still part of this collective. And, now is not the time for procedures or the way to do things, as much as it is about being aware. And yeah, we are in a place where we are recharging and we're resetting, and when it comes to being aware of what's happening in relationship to outside of us, awareness gives you one of the greatest tools to navigate times of uncertainty with a sense of calm and control. And you will know how in any moment to respond. You will know how to act, and you will emerge better and stronger and faster than you did before. I'm ready to take questions, and I see that they're all just presently typing away. Oh, I see I should have had headphones sooner. That would have helped. Forgive me if there's the echo. Yes, we have had to completely shut down the business along with so many. Our concern with face painting, balloon twisting, and how long it will be. Cannot stay 6 feet back when face painting. And that is an absolute valid point. How many of us can do our business if we have to be this far apart? You bet. But I would invite you right now, as you do have to reassess what that is for you. You bring joy. You bring joy to people through your your face painting and through your ballooning. So how can you, on a bigger scale, still bring that to life without the face painting? It may be as beautiful. I would invite you to use your creativity to do the things that still bring you joy. Not so much getting caught up in the things we can't do and we can't control, as much as what it is that you can do. And so that would be how I would speak to that one. And especially when summer, the season, a majority of our income, I very much appreciate that you're in a place where some people are in a place where there's seasonal work and it's coming, because I can feel that. I can feel that, we're all kind of anxious to get out. But I also want to say that we're all anxious to kind of get out and connect with people again. When I think of getting a hug from my grandchildren, that's immeasurable right now. When I think of being in a place where, what is it that I can do? And these webinars have been amazing. And so when, yeah, June and July may be your strongest month, but I would also invite you to, with the work that you do, how can you do that and still be respecting the guidelines that they're laying out for us? And without knowing any of the details of what it is you do, I just say that, for example, I put my email address up there. I would be more than happy to entertain any individual questions if you would love a different, or if I may say, a unique approach to how you can go about it, because that's exactly what it is for me. It's about, how do you take those things that we're struggling through? How do we deal with the mental thoughts that keep repeating themselves? What do we do with that? How do we deal with those emotions that kind of get stuck there and be in a place where, oh, we don't know what to do, or we don't even know how to feel anymore? That's what I enjoy working with, because it's about guiding inside to be with the place that you struggle. So when it says majority of income, I wish we knew whether we could book in June and July. I would invite you to also consider, because every day we're working with the unknown, and we're working with something that's greater than us. So something that's greater could be the divine, if I may use that word. There's something greater than us that's running this whole pandemic thing. And if I may speak from a global point of view, it is so intricate as far as the design of this pandemic, more from the point of view that we've got a global involvement. And if one country isn't working together with the other countries, this pandemic will continue, because there's potential for the COVID-19 to be spread again. When all the countries are working together, then we're in a place where we can control this virus, and then it has served its purpose. So there's that side of it, and I appreciate it's a unique approach on what's going on. But we are in this together, and so how can we use maybe our gifts, maybe the skills that we have, to also work with what else is, with what's going on around us? And so, if I may invite you, instead of focusing, I talked about where are we focused, instead of focusing on, ooh, I don't know if I can in June and July, and I'm not saying you are, just allow me to use these words just for an example. I don't know if we can work in June and July, to be a little more open and go, okay, so maybe we won't be working in June and July, because we don't know. Maybe we won't be, but what else can we do? How else can we take our skills and our gifts, and how else can we bring about some income? And it's giving direction to the mind. And this is why I can talk about thoughts and emotions and body all day long. It's giving direction to the mind. It's giving the mind something to think about. And it's a lot funner to be thinking about those kind of things than what's happening in the world and how many deaths are there. So where are we focused? Yes, it's about acknowledging that, no, I mean, we may not be working in June, July, but hey, if we aren't, what else can we do? Because we're very capable people, and we have gifts, and we have talents, and we have the energy to do it. And so how else can we turn that around? So with all 4 kids at home 24/7 and hubby working in the basement, I feel like someone always wants a piece of me, and that is real. That is real. It's hard to get some peace and quiet when I need to get something done alone. I hear you. And so much mom guilt when I say no to. Do you know, that is so real. And that's one example Everyone is dealing with changes in relationship. And I work with clients who are in that place. And I can only speak, I'm going to speak in a very broad sense right now when I say this. Some people who are in that position are in a place where they are the ones that have to do all the work, and they're the ones that have to do all the work and they can't focus on their own work. Then there's the other people who are in the same position who don't know how to say no, and everyone's different. And yet we all have feelings, we all have our experiences, we all have what we're dealing with. And so if I may speak to you now, when it comes to being in a place where, maybe it's a little more difficult to close the door. Sometimes closing the door is a little hard for people because then they don't know what's happening on the other side of the door, and they can't really, see what's going on with the family if the door's closed. So sometimes closing the door can help, and closing the door can be a barrier for some people, creating a little resistance, because if I close the door, then I don't know what's going on. When it comes to the children, you bet. What are some of the things that you can do? A lot of times we get caught up in, oh, they're fighting or they're doing this or they're doing that. And we kind of stop asking ourselves inside, like, well, what can I do? What can I do to bring about changes now? What can I do to bring about the change that I need to take care of me? And if I may also add, when I am busy in the day, and I've got clients and I've got whatever, it's only when I actually get to bed at the end of the day where I will, as I'm laying there, there's no phones ringing, there's no email in my bed, there's none of those things. I will actually look back at my day and I'll go, where did I lose it today? Where did I react most today? And if it is about having, you bet, 4 children around and a husband who's working in the basement, if it is about that, in that maybe 3 seconds that you get before you pass out, falling asleep because you're exhausted, ask to go inside and just say, okay, you know what? When I wake up in the morning, I'm going to have a different view on how I can approach my day. I'm going to see things differently. That may be one. It's about bringing joy, but most of all, it's about being aware. It's about creating that dynamic that you want in your life right now. And why now is better time? Because again, we're enforced to stay inside. We're enforced to be in a place where here we are. And it's not only us. And that's what I find I'm at peace with, is that even though things are changing for me, it's not only me and it's not only Saskatchewan, it's the whole country. And so we're all navigating through these uncertain times together. We're all navigating through the uncertainty. And so again, I'd be more than happy to entertain any questions that you may have. And thank you. I have to say thank you so much for being okay with the microphone and how that unfolded. And thank you. And for your feedback, I appreciate. Do you have any practical tips or suggestions for calming our physical or mental selves when we have to be out getting groceries and get scared and nervous around being around others? Deep breathing is one way. Wondering if you have other ideas. And I'm going to go about answering that in 2 ways. First of all, kudos to you for recognizing that is something that you're feeling. I say kudos because awareness is huge. One lady was saying at the end of her day, she felt so exhausted after trying to be on a computer all day long. She was so exhausted, she went downstairs to be with her family, and her husband wanted to talk to her. And she said, I don't have any energy left. I am exhausted. I can't even talk to you right now. Those are things that we normally would do. We're talking to our spouse. Of course we are. Now, in this place where there's a pandemic, we're going, I'm just, and I said, it's not about being exhausted. It's about recognizing that you are. Because when you are, you can kind of go, holy cow, am I ever exhausted? What did I do today that's causing this? Because normally I'm not. That's the beautiful gift in it all. When we're reacting or when something is happening that's not normal for us, let's say, for example, you are working from home and you're finding it really hard to attend another Zoom meeting because you've had 3 today. That's not normal like you. And so you go, okay, well, what's different? What am I experiencing in this moment? So that side, when you go out for groceries and be scared, that's normal because every one of us is in that place. And when you say, are there practical things that you can do? Breathing, you bet, is one. And if I may invite you to consider, you can also circle yourself in a white light, a white protective light, and trust that you will be taken care of. Now that's one. That's one thing that I would suggest for you. And you might be going, how do you do that? And really, it's as simple as that. We tend to complicate everything, but just imagine yourself being protected by a shield when you do go out. When you do go out, because if I may share this from an energetic point of view, if you go into the grocery store feeling that you are protected and this shield will just protect you from any virus, that is very different from going in and wondering, are you going to get the virus? And ooh, that person better not touch me. And oh my gosh, okay, can you feel the difference? Only our mind limits us with what we can do. So that's something that I would share really quickly, that is something that's easy to do. And I do have many other things, but I just get a sense that maybe that's the one that I can share. I think that might be it. If I haven't answered your questions, I appreciate that. Just scanning through pretty quickly. Anyway, thank you to Wes for this opportunity and for a beautiful opportunity to connect with you all today. I can feel you all. I can feel you. Sending much love and grace, and thank you.
Great. Thanks so much, Sheila, for taking your time to share with us today. I also want to say thank you to everyone that was able to join us on today's webinar. You'll be able to view this webinar on demand on our website by the end of the day today. Our next upcoming webinar is next Wednesday, and the topic is COVID-19 Shock and Rebound. It is presented by Nick Kochar. He is a program advisor at WESC and the CEO of Refresh Inc. Registration is now open on our website at west.ca. I will mention that for the month of April, WESC is offering free annual memberships to help businesses through COVID-19, so you can sign up at our website. Bye, everyone. Have a great afternoon.